First violin, La Donna Immobile. Hello guys, it's Ali Reza again. In this video, we're going to be talking about La Donna Immobile. And I'm not going to repeat the things that I just said on the previous videos. So try to go over everything, and as you watch the video, make sure that you really pay attention so you can actually memorize all the similar things such as key signature, time signature, and theory reminders. So, as you can see in the music, this piece starts, for first violin, starts with 2 bars of rest. Number 2, 2 bars of rest, G major, 1 sharp, which is only F, and the time signature is 3/4, right? So, each beat gets a quarter note, and the speed is moderato, which is medium, not too fast, not too slow. Quick reminder, the dot above or below each note would stand for staccato. So, staccatos are played shortly. If you play the same notes without a staccato, you just play like this. With a staccato, you play it short. Now, as I've mentioned it before, there are many different types of staccatos depending on what piece, what era, what genre, what music you're playing. Staccatos are a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. They're played a little bit differently, but in general, they are short. In this piece, make sure you play it short like this. 1, 2, 3. So, one thing that you have to remember is your second finger. Just as a general comment, in all these 7 pieces, your second finger on A string and sometimes on D string is the one that's going to change the most. It's going to go from high second to low second to high second. And you know which and where you have to actually do the high one or the low one. For instance, if you're playing this C on A string, you would only play it as high second, which is going to be on the red tape, only if there is a C sharp. But as you see, there is no sharp, there is no C sharp in the key signature. The first sharp is always going to be F. So there is no C sharp in the key signature, and there is no accidental, there is no sharp here either. So you go from high second to low second. And as you can see, I'm not moving around my first finger. Your first finger is placed firmly on the yellow tape. This is for B on A string, right? Your second finger would be placed on the red if it's C sharp. But when it's not C sharp, you lower your second until it touches your first. And it's going to be on the white tape. Make sure you don't lower both fingers. Make sure nothing gets affected, right? Your first finger is the base of your hand. You hold this down, nothing changes. You just lower and raise your second finger accordingly. When you play sharp, it's high. When you play natural, it's low. The high is on red, low is on white. Don't forget that. Make sure they're touching. And you play all the C's in this piece as low second on A string. As you look, we move on. We get to the next second finger on D string. Now look, what's the name of this note? F. What type of F? Do you see a sharp sign on it? No, but there is a sharp sign. There is a sharp in the key signature. That's F. And if you remember, sharps in the key signature are the ones that stay effective till the entire piece is over. So unless you see a different key signature or you see a natural sign. So this F, along with every single F that you see, is going to be sharp. So F sharp on D string is high second, which is on the red tape. First finger is E, second finger is F sharp. However, just so you know, if you had to play that F as F natural, what you would do is you lower your second finger. It's the same concept, same mechanism on different strings would give you different notes, right? Most of the times you go from sharp to natural, sharp, natural, sharp, natural. In case if it was natural already, when you lower it, you go to flat. If you remember, flat lowers the notes by half a step. Sharp raises the notes by half a step. So if it's already sharp, it's going to be natural. But if it's already natural, it's going to be a flat version of the same notes. So, and as you see in the music, I have a bunch of signs. Downward arrow with number 2. Number obviously stands for your finger numbers. Down would be low, up would be high. So sometimes you see upward arrows, that stands for high second. Sometimes it's low second, like this. And once more, don't forget, feel free to write down any sort of information, any clues, anything that would help you to learn the music. You're not going to be doing this forever, but it's very useful to do it as you're learning something, specifically if it's your first or second time. So, dotted eighth notes. One thing about dots, once more, if it's placed on top of the note or below the note, that makes the note to sound short or staccato. If it's placed on the right side of the notes, notice the dot can't be placed on the left side ever. It only can be placed up, down, or to the right side. Depending on where the line stem is here, if the line goes down, the dot is going to be up and backwards. When the dot is placed on the right side, that adds half of the value back to the note. So you already know a whole note gets 4 counts. We don't have a whole note here. Half note, like these ones, get 2. Quarter notes, the black ones, get 1. Eighth notes, these guys, get half. Now, what's half of half? Is a quarter, right? Quarters, value-wise, are going to be equal to 16th notes. So, just like how we have 2 quarter notes per each half note and 2 half notes per each whole note, we have 2 eighth notes per each quarter, and we have 2 16th notes per each eighth. So, this entire part is occupying 1 beat. How many beats we have? 3 beats. You have beat 1, 2, 3. This here occupies 1 beat on its own. And obviously, these are your remaining 2 beats. Each measure should have 3 full beats in it. So 1, 2, 3, ta ta ta. Ta ta 1, 2. Ta ta ta, right? So practice it very slowly, and the rhythm, as you see, repeats itself. You can also refer to dotted eighth notes followed by 16th as long, short. If you just look at this, it looks like long, short, long, short, long, short. The first one gets 75% of the beats, the 16th notes get 25. So long, short, 1, 2. Long, short, 1, 2. Right? Practice it like that, clap the rhythm, and we'll work on it in class, and it'll be perfectly fine. Next, we have obviously accents that you know already what they are. Decrescendos, diminuendos, you already know all of those. This little circle here, half circle with a dot. This dot is not to be confused with staccato. Why? Because they're not alone by themselves. If you only see the dot, then yes, it's going to be a staccato. But if you see a dot and a half circle on top of it, that is no longer a staccato. Then that dot is connected, is part of some other thing. It's part of a different sign. This sign is called fermata. Fermata technically means to hold the value, whatever value of the notes you have, almost 3 times more. But it depends. Depends on where the fermata is in the piece. If it's at the beginning, middle, end, it usually varies based on what it is. And it depends also on the performer. Of course, there has to be logics. You can't hold this for like 2 hours. but you would be able to hold it a little bit less than 3 beats, more than 3 beats, 4 beats, 2 beats. It could be anything you want, but this fermata for sure has to be longer than this fermata. Even though you could technically play this one a little longer, but that is when everything is going to be messed up, because the fermata on larger value notes are longer than fermata on shorter value notes in most cases, such as this one. So, and if you have a conductor, you just follow your conductor or teacher, whatever, then you would be able to be all together. And triplets, as you know, having 3 sounds occupying the same space as 2. In this case, you have eighth note triplets. Eighth note triplets are 3 eighth notes occupying the same space as 2 eighth notes. So first thing you have to remember is how many beats 2 eighth notes equal to. You have 3, 4, which means 3 quarter notes per beat. 2 eighth notes equal to 1 quarter note. So each quarter note gets 1 beat. Therefore, if you have any sort of subdivision for that 1 beat, it could be 4 16th notes, it could be 2 eighth notes, or it could be eighth note triplets and some more complicated ones. The ones that we already know are 4 16th notes, eighth note triplets, and regular eighth notes. These are the subdivisions of 1 beat. So far, these are the stuff we know. So triplets are 3 sounds within the same exact beat as opposed to 2 sounds. I'll demonstrate. These are the beats. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Regular eighth notes sound like this. Ta, 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 half, 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 right? Every sound is half a beat. Triplets are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, triplet, triplet. Within the same exact beat, you have 3 sounds. So 1, 2, 3, ta, 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 ta. So you go from groups of 2 to groups of 3, and the groups of 3 for each beat is called triplet. And then of course you have accents. So again, practice slowly and practice 1 line at a time, 1 measure at a time, and then you'll be able to play the entire piece flawlessly. Have fun practicing.